I think that when you play Oklahoma, A&M, Kansas State's been strong. I think our conference is strong, and I think in the end, even without a championship game, we've got a shot at 2 BCS teams every year, and that's the goal, is to win a national championship and play in a BCS game.
Do you expect this to take effect in 2011 for every school across the board, or 2012?
I think that's still a question. We're planning on 2012.
Two more questions. President
How
Howard.
does travel have an impact? The travel, not having to go out to the West Coast, play at the Central Time Zone?
Well, travel and the academic life of our student athletes was a major consideration. There were ways to manage that, but the more one reduces travel, the more it starts to look like two separate conferences, and there's not a lot of interdivisional play. I will say I want to again say the Pac-10 was very professional in all this. Larry Scott is a tremendous commissioner. The institutions worked very hard on that issue. That was of great importance to all of the institutions, both on our side and the Pac-10 side. I'd say there was no one tipping point. It was an overall evaluation of where the affiliation would be, but travel and the goal of advancing the student athletes was at the top of the list.
Did you have a conversation with the SEC trying to blow this whole thing up?
I'm
What was
sorry?
the question?
Did A&M's conversation with the SEC, that threaten this, to blow this thing up? Did you have to direct them?
We spent a great deal of time talking with Texas A&M. They rightly looked at this from their institution's point of view. We committed to the Big 12 before we knew what Texas A&M was going to do. We are delighted that Texas A&M and the University of Texas will be in the same conference.
Bill, do you feel strongly that Nebraska and Colorado will hold that penalty and that you have no trouble collecting it?
Well, we'll leave that to the lawyers in the conference. I think the conference rules are clear on that.
Thank you.
You talked about the decision-making process and all this. You mentioned that hearing. They wanted to hear what the decision-making process was. Talk about the timing and the decision-making process in what appeared to be a very fluid situation.
Well, anytime that you're dealing with several counterparties in business terms, another conference, we're dealing with our Big 12 members, media partners. It is fluid. The decision-making process, I think, was very open among our members. It is very hard to conduct those kinds of negotiations in public. But we were very transparent with our board, very transparent with all of the other members of the Big 12.
What about those lawmakers who say they would like to wait until after Wednesday when they got a chance to talk to you about this? Obviously, they didn't get that. I think they still plan on holding that hearing, but there had been a desire to have those hearings first.
I think it is very difficult to conduct negotiations like this in public. I think in the future, when we're dealing with counterparties of any sort, counterparties want to know that they can rely on the outcome of negotiations, and that is very difficult to do in a political process.
What advantage is the network going to bring to the University of Texas, and just your thoughts about what it would consist of?
Well, I'll let DeLoss and Chris comment on the structure. It would, I think it would be positive economically for the campus. It will also be very positive in outreach and portraying the University of Texas throughout the state and throughout the country. It'll connect with alumni who are increasingly all over the country and around the world. It'll give us an opportunity, and I just use this for example. There are no plans along this line, but Tuesday evening at the Butler School where people can see the opera performance. It will be primarily athletics, but conferences typically have conference or in our case, a campus network would typically have non-athletics programming. We would be very creative and in using this as an outreach for our athletics programs and an outreach for our academic and cultural programs.
Thank you all.
Thank you.